It's news time. Information is power. Be current. The news headline. How Nnamdi Kanu hijacked Endsars protest, killed security agents, federal government. The Nigerian government, through the office of the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, has disclosed that the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, took advantage of the Endsars protest in 2020 to create mayhem, leading to the death of several security agents. In a lengthy report sent to Politics Nigeria, the Attorney General of the Federation disclosed that Kanu seized the protest through subversive and inciting statements. As you are aware, that Nnamdi Kanu, the self-acclaimed leader of indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has been at the center of a subversive campaign against the Nigerian state. Consequently, Nnamdi Kanu was arrested on 14th October 2015. He was then charged to court for treasonable felony, among other crimes. He was granted bail by the Federal High Court, Abuja, on 25th April 2017. He, however, breached the bail conditions and fled abroad. While in self-exile, Nnamdi Kanu intensified his subversive campaign, using online radio Biafra to instigate violence and incite members of IPOB to commit violent attacks against civil and democratic institutions, particularly the security personnel, Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), and civilians. He instigated the destruction of public and private properties across the country. As a result of these criminal activities, IPOB was proscribed and designated a terrorist organization by a Federal High Court sitting in Abuja in an order made on 28 September 2017. Despite the proscription of IPOB by the federal government, Nnamdi Kanu continued the subversive campaign, instigating and inciting broadcasts to direct members of the IPOB to launch attacks on government. The Endsars protest of October 2020 played into the sinister plans of Nnamdi Kanu, whereby he seized the protest through subversive and inciting online broadcasts and actively commanded and directed attacks on security personnel and facilities. As a result of this broadcast, members of the IPOB attacked and killed security personnel and burnt down police stations, correctional centers, INEC offices, bus terminals, the Palace of Oba of Lagos, banks, hospitals, shopping malls, and vehicles, amongst others. On 12th December 2020, the Eastern Security Network, ESN, was formed by Nnamdi Kanu as an armed wing of IPOB with the mandate to advance the nefarious agenda of the outlawed group. ESN continued to launch attacks on security personnel, civilians perceived as enemies, as well as destruction of private and public properties. The destructive activities of IPOB or ESN pose serious threats to Nigerian national security and its cooperative existence, which resulted into the rearrest of Nnamdi Kanu and members of his group. And these were the words of an analyst who says that Nnamdi is actually trying to justify the federal government, in this angle, saying that the Nigerian government had actually arrested Nnamdi Kanu because he breached the bail conditions and fled abroad. And perhaps the writer or analyst refused to understand that Nnamdi Kanu actually fled out of, he actually jumped bail, actually fled out of the country quite all right. But this was actually due to the military invasion, while the military invaded his house and, doing an we call it extrajudicial killings, where they invaded his house without permit, without warrant, killed a whole lot of people. About 28 persons were reportedly shot dead, including his parents were lost in that scenario. And as a result, he had to flee for his life, which made him go outside of the country. And as a result of that, he continued his agitation. It's quite known that self-determination is actually not a crime. Self-determination, self-agitation is actually not a crime internationally. And that the federal government, just like the lead counsel of Nnamdi Kanu has said, that the federal government of Nigeria can actually extraordinarily, render Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria from Kenya, while it was said that he went to Kenya, Nnamdi Kanu was at Kenya at that particular point in time, while the Kenyan government, in association with the Nigerian security agencies, collided and extraordinarily rendered Nnamdi Kanu back to Nigeria, which was out of the normal process, because there was no extraordinary rendition process. It was not followed, and therefore, the lawyer says that even this alone has actually annulled any charges against Nnamdi Kanu. So therefore, the writer saying that he was using the Radio Biafra to incite war and violence, where the lawyer of Ifeanyi Ejiofor, we can remember, says that all these things are mere allegations, because Nnamdi Kanu himself was actually not present, physically in those cases, and saying that the IPOB attacked and killed security personnel and burned down police stations and correctional centers. We remember that the IPOB denied such cases like this, saying that these are just manners or ways to blackmail them and to spoil their names. A public writer trying to distinguish between treasonable felony and treason, saying that while treason means that it means an attempt to overthrow the present government of the state to which one belongs to, and one owes allegiance of loyalty, either through war or material backing from their opponents, or someone who declares war on the state to frighten or overpower the president or governor of the state, that we can say that the person can be charged or is guilty of treason, and the person, according to the criminal code, deserves death sentence. That is, the person will be executed. And saying that if the person is under the age of 18, then it is at the president's discretion to tell what to be done in that case. However, stating that treasonable felony, on the other hand, is when the person, reviews a desire, the person nurses the desire, has not effected it, just like treason that has been effected. Once the person nurses a desire, to carry out that desire, instead of death penalty as in treason, then the person will be charged to life sentence, because it is treasonable felony. Saying that section 40 to 43 of the Criminal Code of Nigeria Constitution explains this so well, saying that even anyone that has the knowledge, that someone has such a desire to commit treason but fails to disclose to the proper authority, is guilty of treasonable felony. Therefore, Nnamdi Kanu was charged with treasonable felony, so the end result might be life imprisonment if convicted. Until then, if he does not, if he's not guilty, then he will be dismissed. The case will be dismissed and he will be discharged and acquitted if the decision is in his favor. Thanks for listening.